Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including The Promised Neverland, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Andy Potter.
Hello.
Steve Zeck.
Hello.
And John McKenna.
Hi, everybody.
Yes, we are talking the new winter 2019 anime, The Promised Neverland, that premiered last week, one of the most hype new animes from the season. And we had to break out a episodic coverage for this premiere episode because we were so into it. We're going to be walking through everything from the premiere episode of The Promised Neverland 121045. And everything surrounding this first episode. We're recording this like the night before episode 2 comes out. So if you've seen episode 2 since then, we're not talking about episode 2. We're just talking about episode 1. Only spoilers for episode 1 on this podcast. We're just doing the pilot for now since we thought it was incredible. Maybe weekly coverage to come on this. We'll see how the show goes. We've never really done weekly coverage of an anime before, so that you could tell we're really hype about the show that we're doing this right now.
I was shocked though. I was hoping to get coverage here. I was hoping maybe like after 6 episodes or maybe the whole one season a whole, but I was not expecting this, Dylan. You surprised me.
You'll see why in our initial thoughts, I would say. So it's we think it's a special episode. At least I don't not to speak for everyone, but but if you've not yet seen episode 1 of The Promised Neverland, you've never heard of the show. Go and watch it more than any other show I've ever warned you about. Please. This pilot has a twist in it. Go watch it. Come back here. We're going to immediately get into spoilers. So if you've not seen this first episode, again, we're only covering the first episode here.
I've been in for a year, like almost like 6 months or 8 months on the Discord. So what's taking you so long, people?
Yeah, Steve was bugging us for it. So yeah,
he was right. Steve was right.
Steve was right. And I'll say,
usual.
I don't know about that one, but the show is a manga. We are not going to get into any spoilers from the manga. So Steve has read the manga here. None of the rest of us have. I believe Andy read the part that this episode covered. But so Steve has some manga expertise, and that might come into play here. But he will not be spoiling anything.
No.
None of us will spoil anything past the anime airings. And I please ask that you do the same in the comments or on our Discord.
Yes, please.
I think everyone's on the same page here. You want to preserve the experience if you're a manga fan for people who haven't seen it, because it was really fun to watch this first episode not knowing what was happening. Yeah. So definitely no spoilers anywhere on our site, YouTube, anywhere.
It's super fun watching the story unfold in the mangas, and I can't wait to see it unfold again in the anime. So I know.
Oh, he knows. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's cool perspective whether you've read the manga or not. Watching this show here.
Listeners in the comments, don't spoil either.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. And since this is an innocent show about children, we're going to keep this podcast PG and safe for work, just to be safe here. So, I'm serious though. We're gonna just it's about kids. We'll keep it a PG podcast, so no cursing and stuff. Okay. Yeah. So check us out at overlyanimated.com. On iTunes at overlyanimated.com/iTunes. We also have an anime specific feed. I'm probably not going to make a feed just for the show, but we'll post it to the anime feed. We have anime overly animated if you just want to subscribe to our anime content. It's been sporadic in the past, but we'll see with this show here. And our YouTube is youtube.com/overlyanimated. We cross post all our podcasts there as well. So again, last warning for spoilers for the pilot episode of The Promised Neverland. Let's what was your reactions to this episode? What do you think of it, and what were you going through as you watched it? Let's start with Andy here.
This episode of television might be my favorite pilot of like the last 2 years or so, because I knew nothing about this show coming in, absolutely nothing. And over the course of 22 minutes, we already know the main motivations of the main cast, all 3 of the protagonists. We know the main motivations of the antagonists, and we learned it in a really creepy way. And we've learned all these ancillary characters. We learned the setting that I assume we're going to have for the next at least little bit of the show. And it was done at such at this amazing pace. Like, I think the pacing in this episode is honestly the most amazing part, because it ratchets up tension for 15 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes are this fever pitch of just insane horror and tension as they figure out what's happening, and it just all lets out when Emma just screams at the ground of the hill. It's this incredibly constructed episode. I don't know if I could be more excited for this show based on this first episode, because it's just incredible. There's a lot of little things I want to touch on as we go over this show. Like, there's a lot of little interesting things they do with storyboarding in terms of direction in this episode that I want to talk about to ratchet up tension so well. But just overall, this is just an incredible episode of thriller TV. It's just absolutely awesome.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Very effusive thoughts from Andy there. Steve, what did you think of the pilot here?
Oh, I thought it was a very fine adaptation. It's very, as Andy said, very well paced, believe it or not. And they only adapted chapter 1 and maybe like a page of chapter 2. I thought they would adapt more. So I'm kind of glad they're taking their time with this show. They're not rushing through, even though this season's only 13 episodes. So, yeah, I also love how the opening kind of tricks you over what kind of show it is. The opening looks like a slice of life, especially you see Emma in the opening, how she's just so happy and perky. This show traps you in, man. And I love how the setting, the characters here. I think we all might agree. Emma probably is like my favorites, and I love how she is the female protagonist in this show. Because one thing I know about shonen, normally shonen females, we don't have many female protagonists in shonen, man. If there's any other series, you're thinking maybe Norman or Ray would be the lead, and Emma would just be a supporting character. And I'm intrigued to see what happens. I'm intrigued to see to learn more about these characters, to learn more about the character that interests me the most is definitely probably the villain, Isabella. I'm kind of wondering what her motivation is. Is she really complete evil, or does she have an evil heart? Does she care about them? And how, for the rest of their lives, how does Emma and the other kids feel about her now that they know what she was doing? Do they still feel like mixed emotions? Because no matter what, she raised them. You can't just erase those memories. It's going to be very, very interesting to see.
Wow. Yeah. Despite we've established, what happens. But I do think you captured the biggest questions on everyone's mind after the first episode. So yeah, definitely. I ditto all of your biggest questions here involving Isabella. Yeah. John, what did you think of the pilot of The Promised Neverland?
Oh, joy of joys. A dark anime that doesn't open with needless shock value and actually got my blood going. Hallelujah. Amazing. And yes, I'm looking right at you, Goblin Slayer. But anyway, I loved this opening episode. It does start, you do get the sense that it is going to be dark because you see the numbers on their necks, and it's being in an orphanage. Being in an orphanage with the clock on the wall, the atmosphere. It does sound like there's something unsettling, but they pivot. But they pivot to this bright scenery, beautiful landscape with like a stately mansion, a yard, happy kids playing. You're thinking, oh, it's going to be perky. You forget that it has this dark undercurrent. You see the psychological barrier of the gate being this dangerous place where the outside is where nobody goes, though they still have the dreams. And the way it ends with, the shot of the girl in the truck and the aliens and Isabella. And I'm just like, basically, I was like shocked. I was like, holy mother of God, that was a thing that happened, and that's gonna be stuck in my mind for the next few days. I'm sure of it. But and it ends with this, and all of a sudden it becomes this horror thriller, and I am all for this. And I was going into the winter thinking that the fall wasn't going to be. The fall had this great buffet of great anime. The winter seemed like it was going to be a little thin. Promised Neverland is looking like it's the head of the lot right now. Yeah.
We should have known something was up because it's an orphanage. One thing I learned from fiction: there's no good thing as a good orphanage. Either it is a terrible place with miserable people who hate kids. That's one thing I learned from fiction, from Oliver Twist and Annie and other works of fiction. So we should have known something was up.
So it's a good point, yeah.
But they feed him better than in Oliver Twist, at least.
Well, I mean, they feed him for a reason. They feed him well for a reason.
We're assuming. I don't know how they can assume the children.
We haven't talked about that. Yeah,
we're going to get into all that, I guess. Okay, I think this is like the best first episode of an anime I've seen in many years. I don't know how many years, but this is like last season we had Zombieland Saga, which started incredibly strong with its first episode, and this is even better. The experience of watching this was really phenomenal with all the setup and the eeriness, and something's going to happen, and then when you get the reveal, it is just a really fantastic experience, and one you usually don't get from like pilot episodes of shows. Like I think this episode stands on its own, even if for some reason the rest of the series wasn't very good. I think this is still like an isolated, fantastic solo episode of television. And looking back, watching it again, it's just remarkable how much the first like 15-ish minutes of the episode sets up all of the various aspects that are going to kind of come together here at the end with the twist. It just covers so much ground, this episode does. Andy got into that really well. And is just like intricately portrayed, like beautifully executed, really interesting like morality too. Just like I didn't expect to watch an episode of an anime this season and see like very blatant anti-factory farming morality from a show here, which is what I got out of this first episode. And interested to see how this plays out as the show is going here. But I was like enthralled, fascinated, and absolutely in love with this pilot episode. I'm not even usually into horror too much, and the execution I thought was really impactful. This is my it's been 16 days, but this is my number one episode of animation in general of the year so far, and really incredible.
Well, I'm pretty sure it might not last till this Monday. It might change.
Steven Universe big episode's going on Monday. Okay. Yes, the biggest thing to talk about is the last 5 to 8 minutes or something. The twist, you see the body of Connie, and the tone I think completely changes of the episode. Although not too much. I think the episode does blatantly hint at a few points of things being wrong. Most prominently focusing on the numbers on the children.
Also,
in the beginning.
Also, the nature of those tests seems kind of weird.
Oh yeah,
you definitely have some questions. But I think one thing I like is that the episode makes it pretty blatant a few times, but not too many times. Like it doesn't just do like, oh, that test is kind of creepy. Why are they doing that? It's also like, oh, let's have these like this horror shot of the Nexon for a little bit in the beginning, and then there's one part where we like cut quickly between these perspectives when they're talking about what they're going to do when they escape.
I do have a theory on the test, and it has nothing to do with any spoilers. I do have a theory on the test, and I think, at least with Emma's case, I'm thinking they're testing her out to maybe protect her in the future, maybe be a future, like have the same type of job Isabella has, like a mother.
Yeah, the first episode does hint at that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure though. If orphanage, I don't think I've never heard of house father orphanage. So I'm pretty sure they only would take females in that job, but they're testing all of them, so to around suspicion. We're just interested in the girls and their scores, but we'll test the boys too to keep up appearances. Yeah, that's my headcanon theory. That's my theory.
I think they definitely draw parallels between Emma and Isabella, but they're in terms of like sheer saying she wants to be. She doesn't want to stay. Also Connie also says that she wants to, but Emma says she wants to. She's a family and take care of everyone. I definitely think the first episode portrays it as like testing the quality of meat. This is kind of the impression you get. I mean, the monster says at the end that he wants the 3 with the highest scores. So they seem to certainly be intending to eat Emma. Don't think that they're keeping her around, or at least I assume Emma will not be dying next episode. But why
would intelligence be a mark of good?
We don't know how they eat them. They might be consuming them in a way.
Are these demons like of a higher plane of existence where they like consume like positive traits of us?
I don't get. Yeah. One weird thing, they said these meats are only like for the rich. Like, these demons have the class system. Have like
there's also some class messages too.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a lot of like little exposition that happens. There's like a ton of exposition in this episode, and it's amazing that it all gets fit in here because there's a lot of little things like that.
Andy, what's your reaction watching the twist unfold? Like, what do you think emotions you went through?
Before I to talk about that twist dome, I need to talk about how they walk into that tunnel, because everything as soon as they enter the tunnel is just such masterful like tension and
Absolutely.
like tension. because like there's that water drip, and I like that water drip is perfect because there's just the entire scene. There's just one drop of water just hitting the ground through the whole scene, and that's just a classic like torture thing, like where like there's just a drop of water hitting things, and like it just causes you to be like really concerned as a viewer, and it's just so perfect. And so by the time they open it and they see Connie, like even though I knew Connie was going to be dead just as I was prepped by the show and what it was showing me already, like my tension was at a fever pitch, and it was just like I felt about as shocked as Emma did when I saw the body. I mean, it is still a dead girl, but it's just like it's just such, I don't know, like the show just pulls you in, Dylan. It just pulls you in and wraps you up in these emotions that it wants to feel. It's incredible.
You know what reminds me of though? This definitely Connie reminds me definitely of what happened when I saw what happened to Nina Tucker in Fullmetal Alchemist. It's like the same type of thing because they make the same type of character. They make her as innocent as possible, as pure as possible, just so they could do some just insane stuff with this innocent character. I feel they're doing the same thing with this character.
Yeah, I definitely felt a couple of parallels to Nina. There was just that she was a young girl and she got some horrible stuff happened to her.
But she was kind of like the perfect, like such a perfect little girl too. It just that's so perfectly innocent. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, they're setting you up to be the most horrified by Connie being dead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They want you to love her. They want you to care about her. To say she's like. They don't want you like to say, that's good. She's dead. She's such a brat.
yes, that is the intent. Yeah,
and they did enough to make you feel sympathetic for Connie leaving because you saw how all the other characters reacted to the idea of her leaving as well. So
it's just insane because the episode actually starts with them showing that Connie's leaving. Like that's like one of the first shots of the episode. And it's just like it's just they set up for this the entire episode, and when it finally happens, it's just stunning.
Yeah, you see the calendar right away there. John, what was your reaction to seeing the twist at the end here?
Similar to Andy, I loved the scenery of of that gate tunnel because not only with the water dripping, but you could see gears up above on the ceiling almost, and it had this really, again, this great sort of atmospheric dark tone that is really captured very well, and it's animated beautifully. But I mean, I didn't see the twist coming. I kind of glanced over the Discord when I was watching it because I think that's how some people they have seen it. I know someone mentioned body counts, but I thought that was for a different anime. But but when they showed the girl and I saw that, I must admit I sort of like jilted a little bit. I was like, whoa, well, that was wow. And there's like flowers sticking out of her gut. I was like, what just happened? And for me, it just sort of snapped my head back and was like, wait a minute, that's right, this is a dark anime. I forgot. Because you do forget a little bit, like you know something's up, but the way they sort of envelop you in the bright colors and the lush landscape, so you do kind of forget about the numbers on the numbers on the neck, the test, which does have going back a little bit. It's a little creepy, but it was just I'm looking at this like, mother of God, what is going on? And then the demons come out, and I'm like, oh my, that's.
I thought they were aliens.
It's like I demons, aliens, but it's like this is dark, this is creepy. There's dead children. Keep it coming.
Okay, John.
Okay. The whites. How about the colors of they all wear the same uniform, white colors. It seemed like prison uniforms. You should have realized that. We should have realized that.
Yeah, in retrospect, that is a lot creepier, and they do point it out in the episode. There's a few things like that. Watching the ending, I generally with this, even though you kind of know there's something's happening, I'm turning that part of my brain off that's trying to predict what's coming or anything. And I do think the episode does such a great job of drawing you in comfortably a little while still showing that something's off and still foreshadowing a ton of stuff. And just seeing Connie's dead body is really shocking and horrifying, but also I was engrossed in it. And then just but then it's when you start to see the monsters / demons / whatever you're gonna call them, that's when I was like, oh my goodness, what is happening? This is it kept going, and they kept giving I didn't expect this to give details about what was happening. I expect them to run out earlier. I didn't expect to see like as much of what they looked like as it did, and we just kept seeing more, and it kept like growing more, so much more engrossing and like beautifully, like creepy but beautifully presented, and just like that's kind of like like everything, like seeing with the demons compared to the kids that we saw earlier was such a fantastic experience, I think, to like go through watching this for the first time. I got parallels to Spirited Away for a large part of the end of this. It's like a dark, like horrifying version of what happens in Spirited Away, like walking down a tunnel going into a different world. It's like you get a little bit of the like horrifyingness from some aspect. Like Spirited Away is like purposefully like jarring and like unsettling, but this is like it ramped up to a large extent, and I was just really super into it, and I'm really hoping the rest of the show is like this. Although it's like, I don't know, like what's the rest of the show like? It feels like this is the twist, and now where everything's gonna unfold. So it
might be like The Great Escape. Or like
I'm expecting like a Hysen thing.
Yeah, the twist, they can't do that twice. It's this type of twist you can only do once.
Yeah. Steve, what was the quick reaction as the person who'd read the manga, like seeing this on TV? Did this like exceed expectations? Were you like not expecting them to do certain things? Did you not expect it to be portrayed so well?
Yeah, it was pretty so well. It shocked me how it's pretty much word for word of chapter 1 of the manga. A couple of differences. First of all, the cold opening does not take place at the beginning of the chapter. That takes place later on, but other than that, it's verbatim, pretty much.
Steve means that the when they're younger, Dylan, at the gate when they're talking.
The pre-OP scene. Yeah,
I just want to make sure clear. That's sorry.
But no, but that's the norm for anime adapted to manga sometimes. So, but yeah, what does surprise me though, it's how the opening is just they're going to keep the gag up that it's going to be a lighthearted series. I don't think they're going to change it.
I don't know if I call it a gag, but that's a funny way to put it.
I mean, it did. I mean, even during the cold open, it did actually feel like there was something was up, because they're talking about not seeing the outside world. Automatically, that should be setting off little alarm bells. So
that cold open's really good. I really like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the parallels later with them being older at a different gate portion, and they're saying very similar things. And yeah, it's an interesting way to open the show. I think it sets up a lot of aspects tonally for what we're going to see here. Andy, you also went back and read the first chapter. Does anything stand out to you, manga versus show?
I was trying to, like, just to be clear, when I went back to look at the first chapter, I was trying to skim it so I didn't get any, in case there was different information in there. But generally what I saw is that this episode is a lot slower than the first chapter from what I could tell. Like, they took a lot more time to draw out these moments, and it really succeeds for that. Like, it felt like the manga was faster. But again, that's different. It's a different medium. It's hard to compare that with that.
And interesting though, like I said, they only adapt one chapter, and normally, and most animes I see nowadays, they tap at least like 3 chapters, or if you're like Tokyo Ghoul RE, 5 chapters an episode. So,
or if you're like Blooming to You breeze through the first 5 volumes in a season.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I'm just saying it's amazing. Though I kind of wish online would be much faster.
Yeah, I mean, I think the show's already doing very well. Would not be surprised if we got a season 2.
Well, one thing you understand about manga. Well, one thing about manga you have to understand though, chapter 1s of mangas are much longer than normal chapters. Yeah. So next episode should be probably at least 2 chapters adapted.
Either way, it felt very restrained what we saw from this first episode, and this felt like such a fantastic way to approach a first episode here.
And before we move on from that, the twist at the end, Dylan, I just want to say the thing that made me so confident in this show, and I'm glad you brought it up, is that they showed us the monster. They showed us the twist. Like, any show can like make it scary, that like the unknown thing can be scary. Like, they could run out and there's something's killing people for some reason. But this show is just like so confident in like showing us what is wrong with this situation, and it makes me so excited to see where this goes with it.
Yeah, it felt so substantial what we saw.
Yeah.
Even if this is just a portion, like the base relative to the setup, it felt so substantial and it was very satisfying.
And I think what's also helps with the monsters, even though you do see them, you're still not entirely sure of the motive. There's still a lot to know. They didn't, just come out and give you all the information about the villains. And so there's still a lot to go back to and mine as the series goes.
A lot very unclear here. We can quickly walk through some of the highlights from the ending because you see the Connie's body in the back of the truck. There's a rose coming out from it or some sort of flower. I think that's very notable. Yeah. We don't really know what's up with that.
But those flowers are very prominent in the OP though, so clearly they're important.
They're also I think they're in the EP too.
Oh, okay. You're probably right.
ED. I think it hints at some that's what makes me think did she die in some non-human way? Is she consumed in some non-human way? It feels very alien.
There's more here than we're seeing still.
And what do lower class demons eat? If the higher class gets to eat kids, do lower class do they eat animals?
Yeah, I mean they joked about eating a cat too. The two demons did. So there's a few breadcrumbs there. They're hiding under the truck and they start to see flashes of the monsters. And one thing I wanted to say in terms of we do see all of them, but the way it's shot, I still don't feel like I have a substantial picture of what the monsters look like.
Right.
It's it's enough to feel substantial, but not enough to feel when I see him again, it's still going to be huge and shocking.
Yeah. And one thing different for me though, when I read in the manga, when you're talking about eating stray cats and stuff, you just see bubbles, word bubbles. You don't know who's talking. You think maybe some weird human who eats cats or something. But here, in the anime, straight up it's the monsters because you hear the voices. You don't know who's talking. That's one thing I love about this media anime compared to manga. It's so much better story presentation.
Yeah, certainly different in some aspects in terms of presenting it. They put Connie's body into this tube. Probably my favorite shot of the opening. I wanted to make it the screen cap, but I can't spoil it.
Yeah, you can't.
The body in the tube, and then they splice the two faces of the two kids of them onto the other side, them watching horrified of it at one point. It was horrifyingly beautiful. I thought that shot was.
Yeah.
They say all of the human flesh produced on this farm are high quality meat intended for the rich. We referenced that line a few times already. You right away, very clear. This is what this is for. I was shocked. Yeah. This is what's going on. The line that I don't think was explained is Gupna done? I don't think there's anything to speculate on there, but assuming that was subtitle writing stuff, I don't know who Gupna is. But that's going to be something to look out for. We see Isabella make preparations to pluck the three with full scores. They say, and she says, "Understood."
And that's Norm. That's Norman, Emma, and Ray.
Yeah, and you see this. Yeah. I love the way they show the score sheet. And when I was watching, I paused. I was I need to see this, and then I figured, and then it's okay, it's the three of them that that latest test. It was fun. And then they just say it right after, so I pause it. But it's
one earlier scene though, once you had this reveal that I have to maybe look back a different light, is the scene when just before Connie leaves, Isabella takes a drawing that she made, and I guess she pulls it up to her chest, and now it just makes me think, what's she thinking?
I'm gonna get into her for a little bit in a second, but let's finish going. I definitely want to reference that scene as well. The demons start to smell something, but then they've run away already. Very terrifying to second the way it's shot, and that they're going to catch them.
Yeah, but the weird thing for me though is I was watching that scene again today, but I'm thinking about this. It's maybe I'm overthinking it, but I have to ask, how did they get away?
Yeah,
I think they started running earlier than
but it's
showed.
But how do you run? But you're in a confined space. You're only hiding under a truck. How do you get away with not one of the three looking up and going, "What are those three doing? What are those two doing?"
Well, the thing is, if you look at the scene, Isabella's the only one that's standing facing the exit of the tunnel.
Yeah, you don't.
That's another important part of the scene because all three of the demons are facing into the tunnel towards. So
we don't know if Isabella saw and just let them go, because I do think at the very least, if the demons found them it might not look good on her part either. She could be in trouble too.
Yeah,
so
we'll get to her in a second. Yeah,
And
Yeah.
Isabella found the stuffed bunny.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then later, Emma, are we food? It was Connie. Were we raised just to be eaten by something? Just like really heartbreaking and terrifying.
And her cry at that hill was heartbreaking as hell. She just screaming.
Yeah, the Norman talking to her, let's escape the three of us, but Emma says she can't leave everyone here, doesn't want any more of her family to die. And then they say Norman's like, we'll run away all of us, it'll be strategy like playing tag, and potentially Ray's listening on as they're talking about this.
Ray keeps me out.
So quickly on Ray, I don't want to go into too much. Ray definitely hints of him knowing something's up the entire time, or at least being skeptical and afraid of things. Like he says, it's obviously a lie earlier. He seems very composed and stuff. It definitely seems like Ray knows more than letting on, or at least was worried about more.
Either that or he's just emo. Yeah,
also think he's emo too.
But I kind of think like he kind of stopped them from leaving the fence. I have a theory that he might have tried to leave through the fence, saw something, and came back to the orphanage.
Yeah, he might have done this earlier than that.
Yeah, stopped them from crossing over the fence when Norman and Emma went to the fence earlier in the episode. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, but we also see Ray as a kid, and he's also even skeptical. Then I think.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of balls in the air here.
Yeah, and Ray is like not even a top 5 thing I need to get into here.
And they mentioned, it's a low fence. It looks the same on the other side. Yeah. Like what physically is stopping them from jumping and running?
And it's just mom telling them to not go there.
Yeah.
And then I think like one of the obvious things is like, okay, just run away, the three of you. It's a low fence. Like, just get out of here. But the episode did such a good job of establishing that Emma like really cares about everyone, and it totally makes sense at the end that Emma's like, I can't leave everyone behind.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really fantastic too.
The strongest kids, they could probably easily get away if they're not detected. But the little younger kids, they don't have a chance without any help.
Well, and also, but they also all have like a lot of general freedom too. Like they're allowed to run around the grounds unsupervised. And we don't know if there is supervision.
I have a theory about that too. Yeah,
I do want to say it's a parallel to an actual like farm. Like maybe is it like demons like are like us humans, and the kids are like animals, like how like people in farms sometimes they raise animals that like treat them like family before they cut off their heads and sell them to supermarkets.
Right. Well, let's get into that. I want to get into the parallels and morality. So in terms of like the kids running around, it's definitely like a thought I had at the end. It's like, oh, these are like free range humans. Like this is like it's like meat for the rich. Like this is like high. Like maybe there's also humans that are like stuffed in cages. These are like the free range. Like it's like
organic free range human.
Right. Like that's the impression I got of it.
And honestly, I think one of the creepiest shots of this, with that in mind, Dylan, is like when the ending starts and we see the banquet come rolling up the credits. Like that is legitimately creepy when you see all like the meat and stuff on there. Like that skeeved me out, like thinking like, oh, they're fattening up the humans. Like that's really messed up.
Yeah. And then at the end we get this horror shot of Isabella with holding the bunny, so like she probably knows. Well, back to her in a second. I guess since we're on this topic, one of the things that's most fascinating to me is the like I said, anti-factory farming morality of this episode, if not straight on like vegetarian vegan morality of the episode, and it's very appealing to me. Don't talk about it a lot on the podcast, but I'm a vegetarian and have been for a long time, and I love that this episode is making potentially profound points about not eating meat through exaggerating it to the extreme with humans being like farmed for monsters. It's just presented very fascinatingly, and like you start to see those parallels, like, oh, these are these free range humans, like they're wearing like shirts and they're like being raised, and I want to get into like, it's a good transition to talking about Isabella, because I think Isabella and mom is like this she's this like walking contradiction in the first episode. At first you think like, you get the impression she cares so much about everyone to start with. You get the impression she cares about Connie. Like Steve said, she's like hugging this drawing that Connie made. Like she says that she loves most about Emma, that she cares about her family, and she's like seemingly so caring about this kids, and yet is just obeys the monsters. She says understood. You think like one of the first thoughts I had is like, is she brainwashed? Can humans just like not disobey these like higher plane of existence monsters or something? That's certainly a thought I had.
I have a thought on the way she thinks in my head. Like, I think the way she thinks is that the way she's giving these kids this happy life and stuff. It's like, I think she's thinking she's doing them an act of kindness, and that they're, no matter what, they're going to die anyway. So might as well, I'm going to give them the happiest life they can in this short time they have, and that makes me a good person. I'm thinking that's the way she thinks in her mind.
But it is kind of a natural reaction though too, because if you think about, like, say, a small scale farm, like I had a friend who raised a chick who raised a chicken, and she loved this chicken, and she was going to eat the chicken, but she still loved the chicken, took pictures of the chicken, and said, it was a little bit hard the day I had to take the chicken to the slaughterhouse and eat her, but it's like, it's natural. Like, you build, like, even if it's like, be it farm animals or whatever, even if you're going to eat them afterwards, you do still build a bond. You are raising them after all.
This is exactly where I've landed with Isabella. She is the farmer who is slaughtering cattle. You think of the farmer, and this also applies to all of us too, who love certain animals, think they're so cute, and then are just eating other types of animals. But it's the farmer that is like caring for and raising these livestock, and then just slaughtering them one day. That's what I think is, like, I don't think it's actually I think it's a contradiction in that humanity is a contradiction with this. Like, I think this is like a larger point about she is representative of like how humans view consumption of living things, and it's I think it's like a scathing portrayal of that sort of farmer person, but we'll see how it develops with her. I was like, the fact that there's like so much to think about with her, and like I've arrived at that, but it also could be so many other things. I think it's super fascinating. One other aspect is like, what does she know? Does she know that they escaped? You get the impression, yes, right? Because she finds the bunny. She knows the bunny was left behind, maybe. Like, how did the bunny get under the truck? It's possible that she didn't know. She thought Connie hadn't just dropped or something. But also, like Andy said, should she watch them leave? If she did know, is she going to do anything about it? Like, is she going to report it back? Are they in trouble? Once you start to think of them like free range livestock, you think like probably they're not going to want to disrupt the process. Like that's what I think is like, I don't, even if like the alarm bells have been raised, you're still going to want to keep things as calm as possible for whatever reason.
Which is going to make the tension super, super high the next few episodes when we're playing the does she know, does she not know game.
Norman and Emma, like, how are they going to like interact with her? Because they want to proceed to, are they going to act weird around her? Like, I think they have to treat her like they don't know nothing, and that's going to be hard. Like hug her or kiss her like they would.
Yeah, how is Emma gonna do? What's Emma gonna do with her? Like, when she wakes up in her routine the next day that we saw at the beginning of the episode, is she gonna hug her? Like,
it's gotta change. I mean, after what you just saw,
but she also has to play it normal. Like, she has to.
It's gonna be the stereotypical try to play cool, but really you're not cool in the end. And we've seen that everywhere.
I'm not sure if they mentioned this in the anime, but different during the manga chapter, they mentioned Isabella is very good at chess.
They said that in the anime.
Yeah, okay, so this seems like a chess game here.
Yeah,
that stood out to me. Another aspect of her is like, none of us are actually as good as Mom. She's always wins at chess.
They played up that Isabella's smart. Like, they played that up a lot.
Which isn't an impression you get, because she's just obeying commands at the end here. So that's maybe a crucial detail to explain how. But like, I'm like, on one hand, I'm worried about where the series is going next, just because like, how could you top this fantastic twist? On the other hand, we just like are spending most of this podcast just happily speculating on like, well, what's happening next episode, right? So that's like really promising, I think.
And we haven't even like talked about any like the side characters, because it seems like a lot of the side characters have a point here, like there's gonna be a purpose for them, and because we spent a long time of this episode talking with like Dawn, and I forget the glasses girl, like just a couple of these characters that just haven't even touched on yet.
Yeah, right. I mean, Dawn's bond with Connie, I think, was played up a lot in this episode, and cannot imagine. And he also like gets indignant over Norman being smarter than him, and is like lashing out. Like, if he learns what's happened to
he's gonna be
Connie,
so mad.
And he was so close to Connie, like it's like her big brother. It seemed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Don's one of the more interesting. How about we talked about Ray a little bit. Emma, we talked briefly about, but I thought that she was she's almost like this partly the stereotypical Genki girl protagonist thrown into this horrible situation, but she also has like a ton of depth to her.
What is that?
Energetic, like young, energetic protagonist. Yeah, and she's it's just more horrifying because you like build this bond with her, and she seems like really good. You learn she's athletic. I think that's probably a big attribute here. She loves everyone. This is one of the most probably horrifying perspectives we could see this thing through, a young, loving, caring person. It's and then Norman, I think, is pretty interesting as well. Kind of like a parallel of Ray, like who's also like very smart and quiet, but on like the caring, seemingly caring, happy side.
Exactly.
I really liked Norman a lot because at first I thought he was just gonna be like kind of like the mindless machine type thing, but after the ending, it's clear like he cares just as much, like not as much but he cares a lot for people. Like I really like that he's smart but not like just kind of a robot like they sometimes do in anime like this. I really liked his.
Oh yeah, you mean
they gave him a lot of emotion, a lot of personality.
Yeah, he's but I noticed that too. Like normally, like a smart one, they try to make him very unemotional, like say early Izzy in Digimon, like. It's not part of their character development, but no, he has that care right now, right at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like often they try to make him stoic, but it's too easy, like sort of drifts into wooden in terms of character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though for some reason, though I do really like. I think Don's sort of a character. I think is very funny. I think he's kind of funny. He's a couple of one-liners. Like I think he said, "I want to go out and date a cute girl," and then I think one of the other girls says, "Hey. How rude!" And
the scene of them all discussing what they want to do. I mentioned these quick shots earlier.
Those are incredible, Dylan. I don't know. Yeah. I've never seen those before, but those were so cool.
That's one of the most eerie parts to me. It's like them discussing the future, and it's getting all kind of terrifying here.
And especially when the future is like all these mundane things, except for riding a rap. It's like I want to wear all these clothes. I want to go on a train. I want to date a girl.
Yeah, no, it's like. It makes it more heartbreaking. Obviously, one of the biggest hints is like no one's ever written after they've left. They like kind of blatantly tell you that.
Well, actually, I actually didn't think that was that much of a giveaway, to be perfectly honest.
Really? I mean, it's normal enough that you don't. It doesn't spoil it or anything. But looking back, it's like, oh yeah, that's
looking back, but
yeah.
And Connie then promises to write to everyone, and she just loves Mom, and it's heartbreaking.
Yep.
Thanks, show.
Oh man.
It's like you built this up and then you decide to hit us right in the gut.
Mm-hmm.
I also really like that these characters, like they do, like a lot of times in anime, kids like don't come off as kids to me. These feel like actual kids, which just ups the heartbreak like to a fever pitch. It's so heartbreaking watching this.
Yeah, they're 11-year-olds with the minds of 11-year-olds.
I think you buy it even, and it makes it like all the more daunting what they have to do to get out of the situation if possible. I want to tell the opening, the OP, this song "Touch Off" by Overworld, I think is really incredible. I think this is like also just one of the best OPs of the season too. It definitely isn't like one of the most probably the biggest talking points is like it doesn't give anything away and like well, but I also think it's just a great song and it's like really fantastic.
It did give away with some new characters, but.
Yeah, I think if you watch it, I noticed like one or two things watching it closely, but I don't need to speculate about it.
I feel like I've just of all the animes I've seen the last couple months, I feel like every OP has spoiled something.
This one didn't spoil anything, but going back to watch it like after watching the episode, like you get what it's saying in the OP. Like in the first time through, like you have no idea what it's showing, but watching it again, it's like, oh, they're escaping. Like that's what it's happening in the opening. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very good opening. It doesn't spoil too much. It's not a fairy tale opening that just spoils everything.
Yeah, and also like we go to the opening right away too here. I think because it just really just enhances the mood of what we're getting to, and I think the ED is also really good here as well. Okay, anything we didn't talk about you want to mention at the end and final thoughts, Andy?
One thing I want to mention before we sign off.
Oh, clocks. How about clocks?
Yes, that's what I was going to say, Dylan. Yeah. I really like how clocks and the clocks are always present. They're omnipresent in this episode, and just generally time is present. Like where we have a general feeling of time is progressing at any moment during this show, and it's really interesting. It really makes you feel nervous. Like, things are progressing. We need to get stuff done. Like, we have a time limit here. And I think that's going to be, I hope that's something we continue with, because it really ups the tension all the time. And along with that, in that vein, when I rewatched the episode, I caught something really weird at the beginning. Like, when they all got up, when Emma woke everyone up, when the sun rose, it almost turned on like a light bulb. Like, it just flicked on the sun, which is a really strange thing to happen with a sun. So I'm gonna watch for that in future episodes.
Truman Show situation.
Yeah.
With these? Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, Dylan. This might be like a giant cage. Like, even if they get over the fence, there might be like a wall to meet.
I wouldn't think there'd be short fences if there wasn't some sort of barrier.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But again, this is all speculation, and we'll see.
Yeah, the clocks. The one of the more striking, I think, strikingly animated parts of the episode is Norman walking in the forest or when they're playing tag. The whole thing with tag, but there's just giant clocks. As
I would be shocked, Dylan, if we don't get that like imagery again. We don't again.
And it gives it this kind of like sort of Victorian era steampunky, geary vibe to it too, which is great.
2040, I think that's what
2045.
That's what. Yeah, they don't say it in the episode, so I don't get into it. But it's
the calendar though, Dylan. It's the title of the episode.
Oh, is it? Oh no, not the title.
I saw the calendar. It said
the date. It's the
2045. I saw 2045 on the calendar.
I thought the thing is Connie's number.
Dylan, it's December 10th, 2045.
The numbers are much bigger than 4 digits.
Oh, I guess.
Wouldn't it be October? Well, if it's Japan, wouldn't it be October?
Oh, sorry, you're right. Sorry, October 12th, 2045.
Yeah, because the day was the 12th.
Yes, you're right.
October 12th, 45. Okay. Okay, I didn't know that. It's an interesting episode. We've been talking about episode titles. There's an interesting one.
I think this is actually a pretty good episode title, honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised if they started being like the numbers of the kids. I thought I was like worried it's going to be like, oh, it's the number of the kid who dies each episode is the title.
I thought so too, Dylan, until I rewatched it and I caught the calendar date and I realized it was the same as the episode.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks for pointing that out. I also think, like you mentioned, the water drop at the end. I think that's also like a form of time. It's like a metronome through the end of the thing. Definitely one of the big themes you get from the way the episode is presented and animated is like time is running out for these children. And another big theme is like they're turning 12. That's it. You leave. Like that's a big thing too. And these kids, we learn our protagonists are 11. They don't have a lot of time left. And then at the end you learn they're going to die when they turn 12. Yep. So big thing. And I'm interested to see if because some animes like have interesting perspectives in the way they're animated and themes in the beginning, and then it like trails off a little bit. Like we put more effort into the beginnings here, so I want to see if it's consistent. I hope
they keep consistent. They have a really solid foundation here.
Yeah, one of the best we've ever seen, I think. Foundation. Yeah. So definitely.
You can get a whole season out of this pretty easily, I think.
Well, I don't want to spoil like how many chapters this arc is, but
don't spoil it.
I won't.
Okay,
but
Steve, final thoughts here.
Oh, very nice introduction. The character that most interests me for sure definitely is Isabella. I just kind of wonder.
Shocker.
She intrigues me. But also Emma to her relationship with Isabella. I kind of want. She says she doesn't want to see anymore her family's hurt, but I wonder, has she completely detached herself from Isabella? Does she he says save everybody? Does that include her? Maybe in Emma's mind, I'm kind of wondering that, like, how far she's gonna go. I mean, because it's just like, I don't know. I just don't know how is Emma feels about this, and because it's just so heartbreaking to see her world destroyed like that, and I'm just kind of wonder, is this the demons that just is this one part of the world they rule, or the demons rule the entire?
Yeah, a lot of mythology questions because it's obviously not.
That I can't wait to find out. I'm hoping to find out. I'm hoping this is not like an Attack on Titan thing when they take forever to reveal this stuff.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned aliens. I did not think at all that
Me
it could
either.
be like a future version of Earth.
I think, Dylan, I'm convinced this is a future version of Earth.
Well, it's 2045.
Yeah,
do you think demons have always been, or did they invade? Or something?
I don't know. I don't know, Dylan, because we're late in this anyways. But I think there's a lot of things we need to learn about this first before I can say that.
Okay, a lot of questions about the world in addition to Dragon. We saw. John, final thoughts.
We didn't get to this yet, but what's the OP ship for the show?
No shipping on the show.
They're 11-year-olds.
You could ship Emma and Norman if you wanted to.
Ship those two demons together.
Ship the demons. Yeah.
Both males.
I'm doing it. Ship the demons that were talking about lunch together.
Yeah. There's also a third. By the way, there's two
And they
demons
both
that we
failed.
initially see, and then there's a third demon. I did notice that. I don't know what it means, but yeah.
Yeah, the third demon has like the two eyes that are vertically, and he has. It's a really upsetting visual. The two eyes.
But yeah, John.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna say Emma and Norman or Norman and Dawn. I don't know.
How about Norman and Ray?
I mean, you know, Don and Connie, I guess, but yeah.
Oh no, that's like a little brother, big brother, little sister
Well,
relationship.
Connie is the oldest there, so. But yeah, it's a little big brother, little sister. I feel like Don. I think Don liked her. That's my impression.
Did you mean Don and Emma, Dylan?
No, Don and Connie. I think Don.
She's a little girl.
Connie.
She's the little girl.
Yeah,
with the bunny
He's
ears.
also a little kid. That's
She's
what I'm
dead
saying.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a problem, Steve. That is a problem with the ship.
Ship is dead. Ship is dead before it's in.
Yes, you did note the main problem with the ship.
Yeah. Look, I'm holding up hope the Rose revives them, and Connie will be back next episode, safe and sound. I'm sure that's what we're doing.
Fine.
I'm more worried about Bernie. I'm hoping Bernie will be okay since he's in Isabella's clutches.
Bernie,
The
the bunny.
bunny,
The bunny.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Rip the stuffed animal. Okay.
Did you know the bunny made like the popularity list? Like he was ranked in the shown like Promised Neverland like popularity list or
Get
something.
out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! Don't meme about this show.
I got to find a link to one of that popularity poll.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic start from Promised Neverland. Super looking forward to episode 2. It'll be out tomorrow for us. So yeah, we'll be checking this out. So let us know what you thought of the pilot of Promised Neverland here in the YouTube comments or at overlyanimated.com. Or you can come talk about it with us on our Discord at overlyanimated.com/Discord of the anime channel. Remember, no spoilers anywhere for future episodes.
Yes.
Let us know if you like this podcast and you want more coverage of the upcoming season. Probably we'll do a episode 2 podcast, but it would help if you guys let us know if you liked it, if you're watching the show. Apologies for some audio hiccups here. I don't know what's going on, but some cutting out here. I'll touch up a little bit, but some of that going on. And you can support us via Patreon at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you very much to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Caroline, aka Princess, and thanks as always to our patron executive producers, John Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Hugh. Check other shows we cover if you're new to us, mostly Western animation, but some anime as well. Check out our coverage of Young Justice Outsiders, Ruby, Steven Universe. Those shows are currently regular airing. We also had a She-Ra and the Princess Power topic discussion. Find all that at overlyanimated.com.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Take care.